Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska, star maker for entrepreneurs who want to unlock their potential, command any stage, and make blockbuster profits. Welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a brand that makes you happy and profitable. Here we go. Hi everyone, welcome to Thrive. This is episode number 11, How Busy Entrepreneurs Can De-Stress, with my guest, Sherry Nada-Pollock. Sherry Nada-Pollock is an energy healer, intuitive coach, and the creator of Chakra Magic, a meditation series for kids and adults. Sherry Nada teaches her clients how to release stress through interactive, fun, and magical ways. On this episode, Sherry Nada shares with us what energy healing is and how we can use it in our lives. She also talks to us about how she embraced her role as an energy healer and a professional clown, and how that changed her life and her business. Sherry Nada shares with us how we can know when we're living our life on purpose and when we're not. And finally, she shares with us a powerful and simple mantra that entrepreneurs can use when they're having difficulty charging what they're worth. Sherry Nada is by far one of the funniest people I've ever met, and she's a super savvy businesswoman. I hope you enjoy the show. Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska, and welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a brand that makes you happy and profitable. Thank you so much for being here. You're in for 30 minutes of high value content from industry leaders who are rocking their business, making an impact, and rocking their brands. And someone who is rocking her brand today is Sherry Nada-Pollock. And Sherry Nada is an energy balancing expert and stress management expert, and who uses tools and programs to help adults and children in their everyday lives. Sherry Nada is a dynamic speaker, author, intuitive coach, energy healer, and teacher, and she calls herself a spiritual activist for humanity. Her programs are deeply transformational, and as she empowers her audience and her clients to release stress in interactive, fun, and magical ways. Oh, I can't wait to hear about that. Her passion is to encourage people to trust their intuition and to expand their worldview by incorporating energy healing into their lives so they become less stressed, use less medication, quickly release pain so they can live healthier, happier, and more prosperous lives for generations to come. So I think that's an awesome benefit. And Sherry Nada has also written a variety of books, workbooks, meditations, and transformational chakra programs for people with busy lives and short attention spans like me. Okay, thank you so much for being here, Sherry Nada.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me today.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to talk to you because I'm somebody who has a family and we're busy and we have stress in our household, and I can't wait to pick your brain about your expertise and also about your business. I'm always curious to find out how people got to where they are, especially for us young chicks out there. We've been around the sun a few times, and how we land where we land, right? It's always such a fascinating story. So I'd love to hear from you. How did you find your path to energy healing, intuitive coach, but then also stress management with a focus for families and kids?
Well, I guess I can say that it's been quite a long journey on this short planet that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, in the spectrum of life, we're only here for such a tiny little bit of time. But in my lifespan, I feel like I've been doing it for this long, forever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, I was very intuitive. It just came naturally to me. And I heard things and saw things. However, throughout my entire life, it's been a challenge when I was younger because I didn't really have anybody to teach me these tips and tricks to tune in and to trust myself and to trust what I hear. So I think it's my passion. I know it's why it's my passion is to teach this to children and to parents, because children are coming into this world on a very different level. Mm-hmm. They're very in tune. There's a lot of challenges. They're very connected to media, to energy throughout the internet, throughout the phone systems. And it's like they're walking in two different worlds at one time, and yet they're they're wired so differently because you can see that they think differently than we do. Mm-hmm. They completely do. And I have a lot of parents who are like, They have children who are on ADD or ADHD, Asperger's, autistic. And what we don't know what it's caused from, but we do know that there's different things there's different things going on inside of them. So my message is to coming here and teaching and to trusting your intuition, learning how to balance your energy. So that way children and families can be off less medicine. And I think that's my purpose. And it took me a long time to get here because it's all about trusting myself and the path that I came on to get to this point, because I hid a lot from it. And I know a lot of people hide from what it is they're truly supposed to be doing. So that's
So what
kind
do
of
you
where
think?
it's at.
Well, I have so many questions for you because, this morning I just had a conversation with my daughter who I said, honey, could you pick up this thing I asked you to pick up yesterday and the day before? And she's walking around getting ready for school with her phone in her hand. And I said, no, no, your attention is not where it needs to be. You need no phones before school. So I totally get what you're saying about the energy. And the other thing, as a parent, so this is not as a brand strategist, but as a parent, I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that children are small adults, and they are not. They are children with children's brains and developmented brains as an 11-year-old or a 9-year-old or a 14-year-old. They're not adults. And I think having someone who understands that and is specializing in helping those brains and those personalities is key, because I assume the strategies that work for adults aren't necessarily directly translated for children, right?
I want to say yes and no.
Okay.
Definitely. There is a hierarchy that we have within our life, just like Maslow has. And if we raise our children with this hierarchy, the pyramid, which I believe is based off a chakra system, at least close enough to it, which is based on your safety, your security of what you have in your life. If a parent is raising their child and they don't feel safe in this world, and they don't feel if they're insecure, full of insecurities, lack of confidence, they're going to have a challenging time raising that child. So a child can come into this world with because we all know they have different personalities. We all come in here with different personalities, correct?
Right.
There's
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that. We all come in here with different personalities. And how is it that some people will rise above every challenge? Amelia Earhart, Oprah Winfrey, Wayne Dyer, rise up above and become amazing with these messages, and then and changing the world. And then there's and maybe they didn't have any parenting skills at all, they didn't have any parents in their lives. So I want to say that an adult and a child, there's parts of us, yes, they need to grow, but without the safety, the security, the confidence and who it is that they are, without those tools, just like an adult, how can adults become who it is that they're meant to be and raise a child in the possible best way that they can? And just like a child, if they're nurtured in an atmosphere and an environment that they're actually getting this somehow or another, and it sparks them somewhere, they're going to rise up regardless. And so I don't know if that helps you at all with that question. And I just say that because there's certain things that, to me, if you don't have these within your life and and so you're right, we need to parent, but we also need to give that place for them to learn these things about themselves, because if
Yeah.
they don't,
Yeah. No,
go ahead.
I love what you're saying, because I'm wearing two hats as I'm talking to you, because I'm thinking about branding and I'm thinking about what you're saying. It is developing a self-awareness at a really young age, and having the confidence to take ownership of that. And
Exactly.
and if you're not a strong parent that can pass that on to your kids, to give them the space and the safety and the encouragement and the love to, allow them to be who they are and support them to be who they are, then that's harder for them. But I think as adults, it's also something that people struggle with. And it's something that I see in the work that I do of people struggling with their brands, even as adults, because they're not taking full ownership of who they are. And
Oh,
that's what
you're
I
so
love about,
right.
yeah, totally. And it's what I love about what you're doing, because you have, I've talked to a lot of different energy workers and healers, but this is a really specific niche. And I think that that really sets you apart. So talk to me a little bit about how, how did you come to this place as an energy healer where you're working with families? What drew you to it? What called you in that way?
Well, are you sure?
Yes,
Just kidding.
that's why we're here.
Oh gosh, it's so funny. Well, first of all, I have to say that I was one of those people that hid. I hid for a long time because
Hmm.
growing up with these gifts that I have that are very, very, very powerful, very detailed. I didn't know what to do with them growing up, and then I believe in God. I asked
Hmm.
God, take these away from me because I don't want I don't want this gift anymore because I don't know what to do with it.
Hmm.
And it made me very sad because there was a lot of messages and a lot of things that I heard. And I hid from that, seriously. So I asked God, please take it away and give me something in my life because I had some challenges that were happening. My husband was passing away with cancer, brain cancer. He was 32 years old. And I
Oh.
had a little boy who was 1 year old at the time.
Mm.
In 4 months, he was gone. And I said, I don't want to go back to school. I don't have time for this. Give me something else in my life that it will be perfect for me, that I will have fun with, that will be less stressful. Because I always liked less stress, and
Hmm.
I was very happy, very positive, and just
I
came
sense that
naturally.
about you. I sense that about you.
Yes, and I just like to have fun, and that's why I feel like we're here to come to this earth to have fun and to rise up above challenges when they're dealt to us, to find the best part of it and to take that with us and not drag ourselves down from those challenges. And so I had a big challenge that was there in my life. And I asked God, please give me something else. So he actually seriously landed in my lap after that conversation a week later. Somebody knocked on my door. My neighbor said, would you like to be a clown? Would you like to be a clown? And I'm like, I am a clown already. I get paid for this.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she's like, you know what? I'll give you some money. There's a car lot that needs somebody to wave on the side of the road. And so that blossomed into, and they were giving me cash, $25 an hour. And I said, well, of course, I had no money. We had no life insurance. I didn't have a job. I was just getting Social Security. And I said, and I didn't want to go back to work because I had my son. I didn't know what to do. And I knew that God would take care of me because I have a very strong faith. And so I blossomed from that. It was like a gift that was given to me. And
Hmm.
so I had this amazing ability to work with families at one time, children and adults, all at the same time and entertain them, paint their faces, do magic, and I would teach them lessons and the magic tricks. And that just kind of blossomed into some other things because I even said in that conversation I had when I was down on my knees, crying. We all get to that point. We're down on our knees, crying, saying, please give me something. Take this away from me and give me something. And I said, I promise you. I promise you when it's time for me to rise up and do what it is that you want me to do on this earth, I will be there. But right now I can't. So
Hmm.
give me something that I need. And then about 12 years later, the opportunity came for me to learn my gifts again and for me to learn them in a safe in a great way. I felt happy and I was ready to rise up and do what I needed to do. So that's how the family thing came in because I just knew that eventually I was going to work with families. I love working with kids. I love working with families. And it was really easy for me to make that transition. And I have to say something about branding. Was told, I've had a lot of coaches and I believe in coaches. I think that everybody needs a coach um, because they challenge you to do things that you're not going to normally do.
Hmm.
And one thing that happened was I was working in all these different networks and I kept working for adults, a woman, and giving them these inspirational programs and things. And it never felt right. It just didn't feel right, Heather. And that's what
Hmm.
we have to trust our intuition because we know that we're supposed to be doing something. And if it doesn't feel right, and as soon as I started creating the programs for families, for moms and their daughters, or to invite the boys in to the children, I knew it was right. And
Hmm.
that's where it's blossoming because it's correct. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. And I love what you said because once you embraced your authenticity, then your business started taking off and everything lined up because not only um, was your message clear, but you felt personally aligned with who you were. And that's when your energy starts to really shine. And that's that, people talk about that magnetism, and that's what magnetism, in my opinion, is it's like I'm an opera singer, so I'm always thinking, of these analogies that have to do with music, but it's like a pitchfork, when you hit the pitchfork and it's buzzing, and that's what sort of happens when you really align with who you are. And I love your story about being a clown, because when I read your bio and it said magical ways, I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And now I'm like, I get it. And I know I'm going to remember that. And it's such a valuable experience that you bring to your work. I can see how that would be so unique to your brand, to your business, and valuable to your clients to have someone who really understands children and how to have them relax and be open and fun and have enjoyment. And I think that that's something a lot of people shy away from when they're doing their branding is, I've had this experience. I don't know. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing now, or I don't know how to incorporate this. But when you do, and you really align all of who you are and bring that to the table, that's when you create that magical magnetic brand that makes you, like I said at the beginning, happy, right? And profitable, because it really gives you that value juice, I think.
Yeah. And what happens is that, for those of you with families, with kids, what are they learning from you? Are they learning from you that your job is supposed to be stressed out, that you're fighting against the grain, that you're not happy with what you're doing? Because the stress that you have as a parent, the kids have enough stress in their lives, but they're going to pick up their stress with everything that's happening, school, challenges, friends, peers, computers, web, Facebook, YouTube, everything that's out there, in their face with everything. Then on top of it, they're going to have you challenged and struggling with what you're doing, because they pick up everything. You are the example to them. And
Yeah.
your greatest fear, if you think they're not seeing it, trust me, they are.
Yeah. Well,
And
I had an aha moment this morning, because I had doing a lot of interviews right now, and Blab is a new platform that we're all learning the learning curve,
yes,
and a little bit of stress around that. And I had, a lot of things going, like sort of launching and going at the same time. And this morning I was like, I've got to get this lined up. I have a bunch of things I have to do today. And my daughter was sitting there going, Mom, will you help me with my snack? Will you help me with my snack? I'm like, honey, I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. And like 10 minutes earlier, I was like, put your phone down, right?
right. There you
Put your
go.
phone down. And I was like, "Rrr." So,
Yeah,
preaching to
that's
the
what I was going to.
choir.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say earlier. I meant to say it, but I didn't. Somehow I really got off track. But it's like the parents say, put your phone down. In the meantime, what are they doing with their phones?
Mm-hmm.
The
So
they learn. So go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
no. I have a
Perfect
great
example.
question. There's a great question in the chat, and it says, could we get my spouse to realize this too? So that's a great question, and I want you to answer that, because I think I'm on an enlightened path. You clearly are on an enlightened path, but sometimes, and I have a great husband, but sometimes our spouses or our partners are not in the same place we are. So how do you work with families to really get everybody on the same page about stress and all those things?
Well, I think there's a couple of really important tips, which I'm glad you asked this. This is a great question.
Yeah, it's a great
From
question.
A Coach by Chance. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of different things that come into factor here. One is that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. We are the teachers. Every single person on this earth is a teacher. And everybody that's around us, if you're aligned, if they're ready, they're going to absorb what it is that you have. If they cannot embrace what it is that you have, then there's obviously a disalignment that's going on, because it all is about having a peaceful heart. It's all about caring and giving and learning on a conscious level. But what happens is that some people, and when people start doing my programs, they're like, what about my husband? It's always, what about my husband?
Yeah, that was
What
the
about my
question.
husband?
Uh-huh.
And because men and women are wired differently. But in a way they are, in a way they're not, because men have a lot in their head, just like we do. And it comes back to, I really do say it comes back to getting out of the chaos, what's going on in your mind, separating it, teaching this to your children, and separating it out and putting it out there so that way you can create intentions and desires in this world that are heard on a larger scale. People say, how are you an energy healer? And I say, because, and how do I have my actual own programs that teach energy healing to children that they can actually do this themselves? I say, because we learn to separate all this stuff. We learn to master our energy inside of our bodies, every cell, every breath, and then outside of our body. So what happens here is with the men, or with the spouses, I'm going to say, because maybe it's opposite, a man to a woman, is that once a woman begins, or a child begins to learn this technique, I say mostly a woman because we're the nucleus of the home. And once we begin to understand and master that we can be healers without medicine, we can be healers by creating intentions and manifesting. And once people start to realize this in their home, creating this foundation, men begin to wonder, how did she do that? There's got to be something going on that she's doing. And we truly lead by example. And that's just the biggest part about it. So he stresses over everything he does. So that means that he needs to learn how to learn his stress habits, to learn to breathe, to learn to, incorporate, how to release this in his life.
Sharonata, can you give, I don't know what a coach's by chance name is, but can you, Amanda, sorry. Amanda. Can you give one? I'm really big into breathing, from opera. I've gone to New York and studied breathing, just
That's
breathing.
So awesome.
Yeah. So, but that's different. I mean, it's a little bit different. Can you give one breathing exercise just now that she can, pass on to her husband? Just one easy.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the show. There's still more great content to come, but I wanted to take just a minute to talk to you about a new course I've created called Close Any Room. You may have noticed that all of my guests know how to speak about their businesses in a clear and compelling way. But that's something a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, and it's something you need to know how to do so you can convert your audience into more sales. And that's why I've created this course. It's a 6-week audio course to teach you how to craft a signature talk so that you can authentically give value and close more of your audience from the stage. In the class, you learn how to create a clear and compelling point of view, how to organize your content and give great value to your audience without giving away the farm, how to structure your talk so that it seamlessly closes your audience at the end without feeling salesy. And I also give you templates and instructions how to create marketing materials, a speaker sheet, and all kinds of sign-up sheets when you're giving your talks. And finally, what everybody's hot to know, I also give you tips and resources on how to find speaking gigs. It's an all-inclusive course so that you can start closing and selling more from the stage. And as my free gift to you for tuning into the podcast, I'm giving you my free webinar, also called Close Any Room, and you can listen to it at clearvoicebranding.com/close-any-room. And it will give you lots of tips and information to get you started on how to create that signature talk that sells. Okay, we're going to get back to the show now. There's still more great content to come. Thanks for joining me.
There's a lot of different techniques, but one simple one that I like to say, and I don't know, there's so many out there, I call it 3-3-3, but you have to count really slow. And so you just breathe in through your nose on the count of 3. So you breathe in. Let's do it together. Okay, well, I'm going to explain it real quick. So we're going to breathe in. I'll be your guinea pig. Yeah, and anybody, and definitely Amanda can do it too. So we're going to breathe in really slow through our nose. And we want to close our eyes even, because that way we can visualize this breath and going. So we're going to breathe in through our nose very slow. Then we're going to hold it to the count of 3. And then we're going to breathe out through our mouth, just like you're sighing, like that. It's funny how it's a natural reaction for us when we're stressed out to go, So what do you think our body's craving? Our body's craving breath, because breath is healing, breath is life, right? So automatically, it's an automatic reaction for us to go, to carry the weight off your shoulders. So we're going to do that 3 times. So it's 3, 3, 3 and for 3 times. Okay.
Okay.
And if by chance you happen to be around other people and you're doing this, then you just might want to not breathe out so hard or just breathe through your nose out. So
Okay.
here we go. Let's try
Okay.
it. On the count of 3.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to breathe in 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, and then out 2, 3. Let's do it again. In 2, 3. Hold 2, 3, and out 2, 3. And one last time. 2, 3, in. 2, 3, and out 2, 3. And just stay there for a second with your eyes closed, knowing that you're safe and secure, that everything is taken care of, and release those stresses to light, knowing that everything's going to work out and that 90% of your worrying is useless worrying. And if you take time to be silent for just a minute, everything will be answered in the highest and best way possible. Breathe in. And then open your eyes. And here we are.
My eyes were open for part of that, I have to say. But
well, well, it's funny. A lot of people, and I don't know if you're one, but you are on camera, so it's a little different, and maybe that has something to do with it. But one of the biggest challenges is that people are scared to be in front of others with their eyes closed.
Oh,
There's
sure.
a fear.
Yeah, if you feel vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So that's part of the insecurities and that we need to release.
Yeah, I do a lot of speaking, and even when I was singing, even though I do a lot, or I've performed in front of thousands of people.
I want to hear more about that later.
Yeah. But that nerves never goes away. It never goes away, even when I feel completely prepared. And I remember one time I was at a networking, I was speaking for a networking event, and I was at this huge conference table, and it was all lawyers and bankers, and they were all in suits, and I was so nervous.
A lot of power.
Yeah. But I was trying to ground myself, but I couldn't leave the room to do anything. And I did one of those exercises. I just counted. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out for 8. And nobody knew I was doing it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about breathing exercises is you can do it anywhere. And you can, if you're at work, if you're in a cube, or if you're at the playground, you can do it anywhere. I mean, maybe not the big, heavy sighing, releasing, but
right. Exactly. Yeah. And I only put it in the release because she was saying she said, thank you. You're welcome, Amanda. Yeah, because you know what, that, and I agree with you. Sometimes you can't do that heavy breathing, but I wanted that sigh to come out for people to really feel it, who was ever listening, because you feel like the weight of the world is lifted off of your shoulders.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And just breathing. So teaching our children this is really important. And, I offer a lot of different programs. Everything I do, I like to say I offer short meditations with big results.
I love that.
Because I say, you know what? I'm a busy mom. So my market is really busy moms, mompreneurs, moms who have 10 kids, or even 2 kids can feel like 10 kids sometimes.
Do you have a lot of clients that have 10 kids?
No, none.
Wow, I don't know what's in the water where you live.
I don't know. No. I'm in Florida, South Florida. Okay. Trust me, we don't have lots of kids down here.
That's awesome.
But, and it's just because we're very busy where we are and this lifestyle that we all live, and it's just hectic and going. So we need to find ways of healing your body, healing your life, and learning how to incorporate this into our life on a daily basis and learning these tools so that way we can change this world for generations, because what I teach is a higher consciousness shift within themselves. Everybody has a spiritual path, and it's their choice to choose that path. However, you can believe in whatever it is that you want, God, Buddha, Jesus, whatever it is. It matters not to me, because that's their choice. But what matters is that you understand yourself and you have a connection with whatever it is that's out there, so you can learn to release and honor that space and honor the gift that you are to this world.
That's awesome.
And that to me is a branding aspect completely, because you need to know, what is your favorite color? What is it that you love? One thing I found out that was really interesting, Heather, through the this one class that I was on. It was a coaching class.
Mm-hmm.
And she said and I actually was like a great experience. She pulled me out and she asked her to ask me all these questions. I was like, oh, am I answering it right? And so she said, it ended up being that, what is it that you like, who are you looking for? She was, I can't remember how she asked the questions regardless, but bottom line was that usually that your target market is a reflection of who you are.
Oh yeah, I totally think that. And it's not always, but I tell my clients it's often who you were 2 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
That it's maybe not where you are right now. But, I mean, it's not always the case, but if you think about it, one of my favorite sayings is a third grader is a god to a second grader, right?
All right.
You think that your gurus are like 20 steps ahead, but sometimes they're just 1 step ahead or 2 steps ahead. So,
exactly.
But I always think of it as a big chain, like you're reaching forward to have your coaches help you and you're reaching back to help the person. And then you're just, that spiral of moving up together. But I want to just touch on what you said, because I've really shifted my focus in my point of view. And it's something that I teach people. You have a very clear, beautiful point of view about the importance of reducing stress and being authentic, and that it's generational, that we teach our children. But it took me, even as a brand strategist, a long time to land on mine, even when I was helping other people with theirs. And mine has to do with happiness, and that happiness is a way of life, that it's not just a feeling, and that it's a verb, and that one of the best tools to find your happiness is branding, because it's by asking the questions and knowing the right questions to ask and taking the time to listen and have someone be witness to your answers and to validate you and give you permission to say yes to yourself is so important. And that's kind of what you were saying as well in what you do in your work. And I just think it's really important for the whole planet.
That sure is. That sure is. And I'll tell you, and you might understand this one as well, especially with people who, I think the biggest challenge for people who are branding themselves is getting past the fear that you're liked, that people are going to like you for being different, like you for standing out. And if you don't have that confidence, it's going to take you a lot longer. It took me a very long time to get to where I am now, because I didn't have the confidence because what I'm doing is very different. It's very different. It's,
but don't you find that people are that the people that you serve are magnetized to you? They love you and they see the value that you have.
They do, and I think that is what's most important, is that they do understand that, and I realize that the magnetism is because they're looking for things that are going to help them and rise up above to become who it is that they're meant to be. What do I have to do? How do I break out of this? What are my fears? What are my blockages? Because the limiting beliefs, I'm not good enough. I'm embarrassed. I'm shamed. Carrying all those low feelings are what come into our face when we put ourselves out there with our brand, especially if you're creating your own programs. When I was a clown, I hid behind my clown outfit. I was like fantastic on stage. And you being an opera singer, you came out flesh and blood just like you are, unless if you had were in costume. Did you ever have to dress up in costume originally, or did you always come out as you?
As an opera singer?
I'm just curious. Because opera has...
Oh, lots of costumes. Oh, a lot, the period costumes, corsets and all that stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So don't you find it easier being on stage behind the costume than being yourself on stage?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm a unique bear. I don't know, but I like that contact of soul to soul. I like that I'm expressing something and touching somebody, whether it's through a role or through my own, I don't mean physical voice, but my own voice, my own expression. Right. I like that. So I find that really intimate and sensual. So
when you were younger, Well, I guess because you grew up, because that was your passion that you came in here for. But a lot of people, it's so scary for them to stand and put themselves out there. So, like for me, I always knew I was a performer. And so it was easier for me to hide behind being a clown than to stand up there in front of me being myself.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
makes
get that.
sense.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
I think that what you said just made sense to me because for me it wasn't the physical costume, but as I've gone through this journey of learning to become a brand strategist and a coach and all of those things, I always had my voice to hide. It's loud, it's powerful. My singing voice is loud and powerful, but it's also my wall sometimes, and
Right.
and the label of being.
Are you there, Heather? Heather, I lost you. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me still? But I'm here. Can you hear? Oh, yay. I was just reading, so you understand what I'm talking about, hiding behind the costume. Exactly. Well, I guess she'll be back. So in the meantime, I'll talk for just a couple minutes. There's always something great to say. I saw that you have a child with autism, Amanda. And so one thing, so you understand what I'm talking about and the high sensitivities that they have. So if you were to teach your child how to tune in to value that, to understand how to tune in to balance that energy, wouldn't that be amazing in your life? And so what happens is that, I have these different meditations and the energy healing programs that I have actually help a child to learn how to de-stress themselves, to learn how to tune into that energy of who it is that they are, and to I want to say monetize on it, but to maximize it to their benefit. Can you hear me okay? I don't know if we're still on. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're still there. Good. Uh, yeah. And so, so she said, yes, it would when she lets me in. She is highly moody. Exactly, exactly. So they're stressed out. Do you feel that she has a stress in her, like a high level of stress that she needs to learn to maintain? Give me a yes or no. Hmm. Wouldn't it be a blessing to you and to her to make to find her happiness by her finding herself? Yes. So I haven't really reached out in a huge way to autism, but I know that when I receive these messages, hey, Heather's coming back. When I see these messages about these programs that I've created, uh, children with terminal illnesses, children with autism, especially, and a lot of children with ADD will highly benefit from these programs. That was the message that I received. Yes, she's very smart. And I bet you that she is intuitive and that she actually is a healer with her own hands. Yeah. So, do you understand? How would I say it? Let's see. Do you ever meditate, Amanda? The connection. Okay, let's see. Okay. So, yes, love it. Okay, awesome. I think Heather's trying to come back in here. She lost her connection. So, I don't know if she's working on coming back, but I'm back. Um, I'm here. So if you want to get a hold of me, my poor Heather, my my web address is createyourmagic.com, or you can get to it through my name, which is Sharonata, SHERINATA.com. Either one gets you there. And then you can, and I also offer a free meditation on Sunday mornings called Sunday Morning Bliss. It's every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. And if you are, and I say it's Sunday Morning Bliss, it's messages and meditations for families. And I actually have my 12-year-old who sits there. My husband listens. So we listen to this. And the messages that come through are very, very profound, very life-changing. And it's only about 20 minutes long. Mine is 11. What is 11? I don't know what you mean. Mine is 11. Anyhow, so you're welcome to join in. It's free. Just go on my website and sign up for that. Oh, your daughter is 11. Okay. Oh, okay. Fantastic. Yes. I love that my programs are like when my one book is written for 8 years old on up. And I believe that we can incorporate all these things in our life and teach these to our children. And Heather said, change the world for generations to come. So poor Heather, I don't know what to do. Should we keep talking or do I stop? I don't know what to do. Oh, Heather, okay, so ask me a question. And then I guess you can cut it off. I don't know what to do. Okay, so I guess what we're going to do is thank you, Heather, so much for offering me this opportunity to be on your show. It was stress management. I teach energy balancing and stress management for families. This was a great way to bring branding, believing in yourself, their authenticity, who it is that you are, believing in yourself so you can become the most amazing being on this planet. And from that point, and if you do have children, when you do this, you will find that your children will emulate who it is that you are inside. And you will be leading by example, creating a stress-free life. We know stress is one of the number one killers in this world, and our bodies react to what our mind is thinking. So the more that we have within our mind, the more negative thoughts that we have create stress within our bodies. So keep a positive mindset, believe in who it is that you're meant to be. And, and I see that Amanda did say that we fight a lot. How do I deal with that? Well, definitely. That's a whole nother topic, Amanda, at this point. So thank you so much for whoever just gave me the little hands there. And you guys have a fantastic, most amazing day. And I guess, find me on Twitter. And I'm going to start doing, I guess, my own blab sessions too. And because this was a lot of fun. You guys have a fantastic day. And I don't know what to do now. Let's see. Sorry for that. That's okay, Amanda. You can give me a call anytime or email me. Sharonata.com or createyourmagic.com. Have a great day, and thank you, Heather.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Thrive. I loved having you here. I love having you as part of my community. And if you're enjoying the show, I would love it if you share it with your friends on Twitter, on Facebook, or wherever they're hanging out. I also want to let you know you can leave me feedback or comments. I love hearing from you. Just post those at heatherpoduska.com. You can also leave suggestions for topics that you'd like to know more about, or if there's someone you'd really like to see on the show, let me know that as well. Okay, until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care. Bye-bye.